Princess Lyra stood by the vast window of her grand hall, watching the skies above Zephora. Her planet was beautiful, a blend of greens and blues under a lavender sky. Yet, despite all the beauty around her, the princess felt bored. She sighed, softly, her long silver hair shimmering as she moved. For years, she had rejected every male who tried to win her hand. None seemed worthy. They were either too arrogant, too dull, or too obsessed with power. Her advisor, an elderly alien named Orin, approached quietly. "Princess Lyra," he began gently, "another ship has arrived. It is from Earth, a world far away. The captain wishes to speak with you." "Earth?" Lyra asked, curious. "We've never had humans visit before," Orin nodded slowly. "They arrived unexpectedly. Their ship crashed near our palace grounds." Lyra turned to Orin, intrigued. "Bring their captain to me. I wish to meet this human." A short time later, Captain Ethan Carter was escorted into the grand hall. Ethan was tall, with short brown hair and eyes that seemed thoughtful. He stood confidently but respectfully before the princess. Lyra observed him closely, noticing how calm he appeared despite being in a completely new world. "Captain Ethan Carter," Lyra said clearly, "welcome to Zephora. I hear your arrival was quite dramatic." Ethan smiled gently, a friendly warmth in his eyes. "Princess Lyra, it was not our intention to disrupt your peace. We had engine trouble, and I apologize for any inconvenience." His politeness was refreshing. Most suitors Lyra had met before were boastful, speaking endlessly of their power and wealth. Ethan, however, was calm and humble, different from anyone she had ever encountered. "Tell me, Captain," Lyra continued, her interest growing, "why did you travel here?" "We are explorers," Ethan replied calmly. "We travel to learn about other cultures, to meet new friends, and to create peace between worlds." Lyra felt surprised. "You do not seek power or conquest?" Ethan shook his head softly. "Power leads only to trouble. Peace and understanding are what truly matter." Princess Lyra felt a strange sensation in her chest, a kind of warmth she had never experienced. Ethan's words touched something deep within her. His sincerity and simple honesty were appealing. "You and your crew may stay here while your ship is repaired," Lyra said thoughtfully. "My people will assist you in any way you need." "Thank you, Princess," Ethan said gratefully. "Your kindness is appreciated." Days passed, and Ethan's crew worked hard to fix their ship. During this time, Lyra found herself drawn to Ethan. She often visited the ship to see how repairs were progressing, using it as an excuse to talk to Ethan more. Each conversation made her feel lighter, happier. She discovered that humans valued friendship and respect above all else, traits she deeply admired. One evening, Lyra invited Ethan to join her for dinner. They sat together under a sky full of bright stars, their meal simple but pleasant. Ethan shared stories of Earth, describing its oceans, mountains, and the people who lived there. Lyra listened, completely fascinated. "Earth sounds wonderful," she admitted softly, her eyes bright with curiosity. "It has its beauty," Ethan agreed with a gentle smile. "But your world is stunning too." The compliment made Lyra blush, a reaction that surprised her. She had never felt shy around anyone before, but Ethan's kindness was touching her heart in ways she could not explain. "I have met many beings," Lyra said carefully, looking down. "But you are different, Ethan. You speak with respect and treat. Everyone has your equal." "Everyone deserves respect," Ethan replied sincerely, "especially someone as wise and kind as you." Lyra felt her heart flutter, and for the first time, she began to wonder what it would be like to have someone by her side, not because they wanted power or status, but because they genuinely cared. She glanced at Ethan, noticing the way the moonlight highlighted his face, calm and thoughtful. "Perhaps there is much my people could learn from yours," Lyra said gently. "And we from you," Ethan replied softly. The evening ended with a comfortable silence, each quietly appreciating the other's presence. As Ethan walked away toward his crew's quarters, Princess Lyra watched him, feeling something new and powerful growing within her. That night, as she lay awake, the princess knew her life was changing. For the first time, she had met someone who made her think differently, who challenged her beliefs, and who, quite possibly, could change her heart forever. Princess Lyra awoke early the next day, feeling oddly excited. The golden rays of the Zyphorian sun lit her room, making everything glow softly. She dressed quickly in her favorite gown, a flowing garment of deep blue that shimmered as she moved. She knew exactly where she wanted to go to the repair site of the human spaceship, to see Captain Ethan Carter again. When Lyra arrived, she saw Ethan speaking kindly to his crew, who were busy fixing parts of the damaged ship. Ethan looked up and smiled warmly when he noticed her. Lyra's heart jumped, and she tried not to show her excitement too openly. "Good morning, Princess." Ethan greeted her with genuine friendliness. "Good morning, Ethan," she replied gently. "Is the work going well?" "We're making good progress," Ethan explained. "Your people are very helpful. We are grateful." Lyra nodded with pride. "We believe in helping others. It strengthens friendships." Ethan smiled softly at her words. "Your values are admirable, Lyra." Hearing him use her name so comfortably made her smile shyly. "Would you like to see more of our world today?" she asked, surprising herself with her boldness. "I would love that," Ethan said eagerly. Together they left the repair area, walking slowly through the palace gardens. Vibrant flowers bloomed all around them, their scent sweet and calming. Lyra explained each plant's importance, while Ethan listened intently, showing deep interest in her culture. "You have so much knowledge," Ethan said, impressed. "Your people truly respect nature." "It is the foundation of our lives," Lyra explained softly. "We depend on the balance of nature, and it depends on us." As they walked, Ethan shared stories about Earth's nature. He spoke about forests filled with tall trees, deserts with golden sands, and vast oceans teeming with life. Lyra listened in wonder, picturing each beautiful place in her mind. "Your home sounds magical," she admitted. "It has its challenges," Ethan sighed thoughtfully. "But yes, Earth is special." Their walk took them to a peaceful lake, its surface reflecting the lavender sky. They sat near the shore, the gentle breeze creating small waves on the water. "Why have you never chosen a mate, Lyra?" Ethan asked carefully, sensing her comfort. In their conversation, Lyra looked away, staring at the water as she considered her answer. "No one seemed genuine," she finally replied. "They only cared about power, control, or status. I wanted someone who valued respect and kindness." Ethan nodded slowly, understanding her perfectly. "Those are important qualities. Have you ever loved someone?" Lyra asked, feeling brave again. "Once," Ethan said softly, his eyes distant, "but it didn't work out. She valued power too much." Lyra reached out and gently touched his hand, feeling a strong bond forming between them. "I'm sorry," she said simply. "It's all right," Ethan smiled gently. "It taught me what truly matters." Their silence was comfortable as they sat quietly, enjoying each other's company. Lyra realized she had never felt so peaceful with anyone before. Ethan was honest, thoughtful, and kind. He was different, special in ways she was just beginning to understand. Suddenly, Orin appeared from the nearby garden path, interrupting their peaceful moment. "Princess Lyra, forgive me, but an important message has arrived. A diplomatic gala is to be held tonight, and your attendance is necessary." Lyra sighed softly, disappointed that their quiet moment had ended. "Thank you, Orin. I'll be there." Ethan stood politely. "A gala? Sounds important." "It's a formal gathering," Lyra explained with mild frustration. "Diplomats and suitors from many worlds attend. It is meant to help me choose a mate, but I dread it every year." Ethan chuckled warmly. "Maybe this year will be different. Will you attend?" she asked hopefully. "If invited," Ethan replied with a gentle smile. "You are invited," Lyra said quickly, smiling back. Your presence would make it much more pleasant for me. It's settled then, Ethan agreed, bowing slightly with playful politeness. The princess felt her spirits lift instantly. The thought of attending the gala with Ethan gave her courage. She knew the night ahead might be difficult, filled with boastful suitors and tiring political talks. But this time, Ethan would be there, his presence a comforting anchor amid the chaos. As Ethan walked back toward his crew, Lyra watched him go, her heart full of new feelings. For the first time, she was genuinely looking forward to the gala, excited to spend more time with Ethan and curious about where this growing connection might lead her. As evening approached, the palace filled with excitement and anticipation. Diplomats and suitors from distant worlds arrived, dressed in extravagant outfits representing their home planets. Princess Lyra stood near the entrance, greeting each guest politely, though her mind often wandered to thoughts of Ethan. Captain Ethan Carter arrived dressed in his formal Earth uniform, simple yet dignified. Seeing him enter the grand hall, Lyra felt her heart quicken, relieved and delighted by his presence. Ethan smiled when their eyes met, his friendly gaze calming her nerves instantly. "You look wonderful, princess," Ethan complimented gently. "Thank you, Ethan," Lyra replied softly, blushing lightly. "I'm glad you are here." Music played softly, setting a relaxed mood for conversation. Lyra introduced Ethan to various guests, observing how easily he interacted with everyone. Unlike other suitors who often sought attention through boasting, Ethan showed genuine interest in everyone he met. Soon, however, other suitors began trying to impress Lyra. A tall alien named Zolan from the distant planet Vexor approached boldly. His dark, glossy armor and deep voice commanded attention. "Princess Lyra, my fleet is vast, my power unmatched," Zolan proclaimed proudly. "Join me, and our combined strength will dominate the galaxy." Lyra smiled politely, unimpressed. "I appreciate your offer, Zolan, but domination does not interest me." Zolan looked surprised and displeased, but bowed stiffly and stepped aside. Next was Prince Eric from the planet Meridia, who offered treasures and wealth beyond imagination. "With me, you will live surrounded by luxury, every desire granted instantly," Eric promised with a confident smile. "Material things hold little value for me," Lyra replied gently but firmly, rejecting him as well. Throughout the evening, suitors presented themselves, each offering something grander than the last, yet none appealed to Lyra's heart. Each boastful offer only reminded her more clearly of Ethan's quiet, humble manner. Eventually, Ethan approached her again, offering a gentle smile. "You seem tired," he observed softly. Lyra sighed quietly. "These events exhaust me. They only see me as a prize to win, not a person to understand." Ethan nodded in understanding. "Your true worth is beyond anything they offer." Hearing this simple truth, Lyra felt her heart warm again. Ethan saw her clearly, valuing her for who she truly was. Suddenly, a commotion broke out at the far end of the hall. Angry voices rose, echoing through the large chamber. Ethan moved instinctively, positioning himself protectively in front of Lyra as guards rushed to handle the disturbance. "What's happening?" Lyra asked, concern evident in her voice. Ethan's eyes narrowed in caution. "I'm not sure, but something isn't right." Moments later, Orin hurried toward them, worry lining his aged face. "Princess, Captain Ethan, there was an argument among several suitors. It seems some feel threatened by Ethan's closeness to you." Lyra felt anger flare within her. "They dare cause trouble in my home?" she asked sharply. "It's jealousy," Ethan said calmly. "I will speak to them and calm things down." "Be careful," Lyra urged quietly, her worry clear. Ethan smiled reassuringly. "I promise I'll be fine." Lyra watched anxiously as Ethan approached the angry group. His calm presence quickly began soothing tensions. He spoke respectfully yet firmly, reminding the guests of the gala's purpose to foster peace and understanding. Slowly, the anger faded, replaced by reluctant apologies. Ethan's simple yet powerful words brought calm back to the hall. Lyra felt her admiration for him deepen even further. Returning to her side, Ethan offered a gentle smile. Everything is fine now. Misunderstandings happen, but they don't need to end in conflict. Lyra shook her head slightly, amazed. Your patience and understanding are incredible, Ethan. It's simply respect, Ethan replied humbly. Everyone deserves kindness. Lyra felt a deep warmth in her chest, moved by Ethan's sincere beliefs. He stood out clearly from every other suitor, genuinely caring about peace and respect. Rather than power or wealth. As the gala slowly ended, guests began leaving. Ethan walked Lyra back to her chambers, their footsteps soft on the palace floor. Thank you, Ethan, Lyra said quietly, pausing by her door. Tonight was difficult, but your presence made all the difference. Ethan smiled warmly. It was my honor, Lyra. You deserve happiness, not pressure or demands. Lyra looked deeply into his eyes, realizing how much he meant to her. Your friendship is precious to me, she admitted softly. And yours to me, Ethan responded. Gently, they parted with quiet smiles, each heart filled with growing affection and hope. That night, as Lyra lay down to rest, she felt a powerful certainty. Her heart had found someone truly special, someone worth risking everything for. The next morning, Princess Lyra awoke with a smile. She felt happy, lighter than ever before. Memories of Ethan's calm and kind face filled her mind, making her heart beat quickly. Determined to spend more time with him, she dressed quickly and left her room. As she walked through the palace gardens, she saw Ethan already awake and sitting quietly near a fountain, looking at the sky. He seemed deep in thought, peaceful yet alert. Good morning, Ethan, Lyra greeted softly as she approached. Ethan looked up, his face lighting up warmly. Good morning, Lyra. Did you rest well? Very well, she answered happily, sitting beside him. Thanks to you. Ethan smiled softly, looking down modestly. I'm glad I could help. Together, they began a leisurely walk around the palace grounds. The fresh morning air was soothing, filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. Ethan told her about life aboard his spaceship, his crew, and their missions of peace and exploration. People are brave, Lyra said with admiration. Traveling through space to bring peace is noble. It's not always easy, Ethan admitted gently. But when we meet kind people like you, it makes the journey worthwhile. Lyra blushed slightly, touched by his words. She felt comfortable around Ethan, knowing he valued her for more than her royal status. Their conversation was suddenly interrupted by a guard running urgently toward them. Princess Lyra, Captain Ethan, please come quickly. There's trouble at the ship. They exchanged worried looks and hurried after the guard. As they reached the repair area, they saw the human crew looking distressed. A large section of the repaired hull had been deliberately damaged overnight. Ethan inspected the damage closely, his eyes narrowed in thought. This wasn't an accident, he concluded grimly. Someone did this on purpose. Lyra felt anger and sadness. Who would do such a thing? Before Ethan could answer, Orin approached swiftly, looking deeply troubled. Princess, there are whispers among the palace guards. Some of the jealous suitors from the gala may have plotted against Ethan. They resent his closeness to you. Lyra felt fury rising within her. They endanger our guests and insult our values. This must stop. Ethan placed a calming hand on her shoulder. Lyra, anger won't help now. We need proof first. She took a deep breath, calming herself under Ethan's steady presence. You're right, she said softly. We must handle this carefully. Ethan gathered his crew, instructing them to repair the ship quickly, but remain vigilant. Meanwhile, Lyra arranged increased security around the palace, determined to protect Ethan and his crew. That evening, as Ethan and Lyra discussed strategies privately, Orin came in urgently. Princess, Captain, we found something. A guard saw suspicious figures sneaking near the ship late last night. Who were they? Ethan asked sharply. They wore cloaks to hide their faces, but the guard overheard their voices. One sounded like Zolan from Vexor, Orin explained anxiously. Lyra felt a chill of betrayal. Zolan would stoop to sabotage? Ethan nodded. Gravely, his pride was hurt when you rejected him. He probably sees me as his rival. We must confront him carefully, Lyra said thoughtfully. If we accuse without proof, we risk more conflict. I agree, Ethan said calmly. Let's invite him for a private meeting. Perhaps we can settle this peacefully. Lyra admired Ethan's calm wisdom and nodded in agreement. I will send an invitation at once. Zolan accepted their invitation quickly, arriving later that night, his posture proud but wary. He met Ethan and Lyra in a private room, his eyes guarded. Why am I here? Zolan asked sharply. There was sabotage to Captain Ethan's ship, Lyra began softly. Your voice was recognized nearby. Zolan's eyes flashed angrily. You accuse me without evidence? We seek only truth, Ethan replied gently, his voice steady and calm. No harm is done yet. If this was your action, explain yourself. Perhaps we can find peace. Zolan hesitated, his pride battling reason. Finally, he sighed heavily. Yes, I acted out of jealousy. I was wrong. My pride blinded me. Lyra felt relief mixed with disappointment. Your honesty helps, Zolan. But violence solves nothing. Ethan stepped closer, extending a friendly hand. Peace between our worlds benefits everyone, Zolan. Let's move past this mistake. Zolan looked surprised but cautiously shook Ethan's hand. Your words. Humble me, human. I apologize for my actions. With Zolan gone, Lyra turned to Ethan, admiration clear in her eyes. You could have chosen anger, but you chose forgiveness instead. Peace always requires forgiveness, Ethan said softly, smiling warmly. Lyra took his hand gently, feeling deeply connected to him. Your heart is truly special, Ethan. Together, under the quiet night sky, they stood silently, understanding growing stronger between them, bringing hope for the peaceful future both deeply desired. Princess Lyra spent the next day feeling uneasy. The spaceship repairs were complete, and Captain Ethan Carter's crew was preparing to leave Zephora. Despite their success in resolving conflicts and building trust between their peoples, Lyra felt a deep sadness she could not ignore. The thought of Ethan leaving troubled her greatly. She walked alone in the gardens, her mind filled with thoughts. The beautiful scenery around her usually brought peace, but today it only reminded her of the many pleasant conversations she had shared with Ethan. Suddenly, Ethan appeared along the garden path, noticing her quiet sadness immediately. Lyra, are you all right? He asked softly, approaching with concern. I am trying to be, she admitted quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. But knowing you will leave soon makes me feel empty. Ethan sighed gently, understanding her pain. I feel thee. Same, this place, you. Everything here has become important to me. Lyra looked up, her eyes shining with quiet emotion. Could you not stay longer? She asked softly, her voice hopeful. My duty calls me back, Ethan replied sadly. There are many worlds still needing peace, but leaving here feels harder than ever. Lyra nodded slowly, her heart aching. I wish there was another way. There might be, Ethan suddenly said thoughtfully. Perhaps we could establish a lasting bond between our worlds. We could return often, strengthening our ties. The idea brought Lyra some comfort. Yes, that would ease the distance. She agreed quietly, though still deeply saddened by the immediate separation. Ethan gently took her hands in his touch warm and comforting. I promise I will return soon, Lyra. Our worlds are linked now, and nothing can break that. She looked deeply into his eyes, seeing the sincerity and kindness that made him unique among all she had known. I believe you, she whispered. Softly. Just then, Orin hurried toward them with an urgent expression. Princess Lyra, Captain Ethan, an urgent message arrived. A nearby colony world is requesting immediate help. There's trouble, and they seek the support of allies. Ethan immediately became alert, We must assist them. It's our mission. Lyra felt a sharp pain at the urgency in his voice. Then you must leave immediately? Ethan nodded reluctantly. Time is critical. We cannot delay. Lyra gathered her strength and stood tall, hiding her sadness behind a calm expression. Then we will help you prepare quickly. Within hours, the crew prepared their spaceship for departure. Princess Lyra stood by Ethan, watching the preparations quietly. Her heart felt heavy, yet she knew his work was important. Ethan turned to her one last time, his eyes filled with gentle regret. Thank you for everything, Lyra. You have shown me the true meaning of kindness and respect. And you have taught me about courage and compassion. Lyra replied softly, I will never forget this. As the crew boarded the ship, Ethan paused, holding her gaze. This is not goodbye, he assured her gently. It's only until next time. Lyra forced herself to smile bravely. I will hold on to that promise. With a final smile, Ethan boarded the ship. Lyra watched quietly as the spaceship lifted slowly, then soared into the lavender sky, leaving a trail of bright light behind. Her heart ached deeply, but she knew their paths would cross again soon. Days passed slowly. Lyra returned to her duties, trying to focus on her responsibilities. Yet her thoughts constantly returned to Ethan. She wondered where he was, if he was safe, and how soon he would return. Then one evening, a communication came through from Ethan's ship. His face appeared on the large screen, warm and familiar. Princess Lyra, Ethan said warmly, his voice clear and comforting. Our mission succeeded. Thanks to your people's help, peace was restored to the colony. Lyra felt relief and joy at seeing him safe. I am very glad, she said sincerely, her voice steady. Ethan smiled gently. We will return soon, I promise. Our bond is stronger than distance. Lyra smiled brightly, her sadness lifting slightly. Your promise keeps me strong, Ethan. Until we meet again, Ethan said warmly, his gaze holding hers. Until then, Lyra replied softly. As the screen went dark, Lyra stood quietly, feeling renewed hope. Ethan's mission was noble and necessary, yet she knew their bond had become strong enough to withstand time and space. Until his return, she would cherish the memories they created, confident that their future held the promise of reunion and lasting peace. Princess Lyra spent the next day feeling uneasy. The spaceship repairs were complete, and Captain Ethan Carter's crew was preparing to leave Zephora. Despite their success in resolving conflicts and building trust between their peoples, Lyra felt a deep sadness she could not ignore. The thought of Ethan leaving troubled her greatly. She walked alone in the gardens, her mind filled with thoughts. The beautiful scenery around her usually brought peace, but today it only reminded her of the many pleasant conversations she had shared with Ethan. Suddenly, Ethan appeared along the garden path, noticing her quiet sadness immediately. Lyra, are you all right? He asked softly, approaching with concern. I am trying to be, she admitted quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. But knowing you will leave soon makes me feel empty. Ethan sighed gently, understanding her pain. I feel the same. This place everything here has become important to me. Lyra looked up, her eyes shining with quiet emotion. Could you not stay longer? She asked softly, her voice hopeful. My duty calls me back, Ethan replied sadly. There are many worlds still needing peace, but leaving here feels harder than ever. Lyra nodded slowly, her heart aching. I wish there was another way. There might be, Ethan suddenly said thoughtfully. Perhaps we could establish a lasting bond between our worlds. We could return often, strengthening our ties. The idea brought Lyra some comfort. Yes, that would ease the distance. She agreed quietly, though still deeply saddened by the immediate separation. Ethan gently took her hands in his touch warm and comforting. I promise I will return soon, Lyra. Our worlds are linked now, and nothing can break that. She looked deeply into his eyes, seeing the sincerity and kindness that made him unique among all she had known. I believe you, she whispered. Softly. Just then, Orin hurried toward them with an urgent expression. Princess Lyra, Captain Ethan, an urgent message arrived. A nearby colony world is requesting immediate help. There's trouble, and they seek the support of allies. Ethan immediately became alert. We must assist them. It's our mission. Lyra felt a sharp pain at the urgency in his voice. Then you must leave immediately? Ethan nodded reluctantly. Time is critical. We cannot delay. Lyra gathered her strength and stood tall, hiding her sadness behind a calm expression. Then we will help you prepare quickly. Within hours, the crew prepared their spaceship for departure. Princess Lyra stood by Ethan, watching the preparations quietly. Her heart felt heavy, yet she knew his work was important. Ethan turned to her one last time, his eyes filled with gentle regret. Thank you for everything, Lyra. You have shown me the true meaning of kindness and respect. And you have taught me about courage and compassion, Lyra replied softly. I will never forget this. As the crew boarded the ship, Ethan paused, holding her gaze. This is not goodbye, he assured her gently. It's only until next time. Lyra forced herself to smile bravely. I will hold on to that promise. With a final smile, Ethan boarded the ship. Lyra watched quietly as the spaceship lifted slowly, then soared into the lavender sky, leaving a trail of bright light behind. Her heart ached deeply, but she knew their paths would cross again soon. Days passed slowly. Lyra returned to her duties, trying to focus on her responsibilities. Yet her thoughts constantly returned to Ethan. She wondered where he was, if he was safe, and how soon he would return. Then one evening, a communication came through from Ethan's ship. His face appeared on the large screen, warm and familiar. Princess Lyra, Ethan said warmly, his voice clear and comforting. Our mission succeeded. Thanks to your people's help, peace was restored to the colony. Lyra felt relief and joy at seeing him safe. I am very glad, she said sincerely, her voice steady. Ethan smiled gently. We will return soon. I promise. Our bond is stronger than distance. Lyra smiled brightly, her sadness lifting slightly. Your promise keeps me strong, Ethan. Until we meet again, Ethan said warmly, his gaze holding hers. Until then, Lyra replied softly. As the screen went dark, Lyra stood quietly, feeling renewed hope. Ethan's mission was noble and necessary, yet she knew their bond had become strong enough to withstand time and space. Until his return, she would cherish the memories they created, confident that their future held the promise of reunion and lasting peace. Weeks turned into months, and Princess Lyra kept herself busy managing the affairs of Zephora. She found comfort in working to make her planet peaceful and prosperous, always remembering Ethan's kindness and bravery. The bond they shared remained, strong in her heart, filling her days with purpose. One bright afternoon, news arrived at the palace that Ethan's ship had returned. Lyra's heart leaped with joy as she hurried toward the landing area, her steps swift and hopeful. Her heart pounded as the spaceship touched down softly, the doors opening slowly to reveal Ethan's familiar form stepping out. Their eyes met instantly, and smiles spread across their faces. Ethan approached quickly, his pace matching her excitement. They stood before each other, the warmth and relief clearly visible in their eyes. I promise I return, Ethan said warmly. And you kept your promise, Lyra replied happily, feeling her heart glow with joy. Together, they walked through the gardens they had come to love, recounting their adventures apart. Ethan described helping worlds in trouble, bringing peace and aid where needed. Lyra shared how Zephora had thrived, her people's understanding of other worlds growing thanks to Ethan's earlier visits. That evening, a celebration was held in honor of Ethan and his crew's return. The palace was filled with laughter, music, and the joyful voices of Zephorians and humans alike, united in friendship. As they danced together under the gentle lights, Ethan and Lyra felt their bond grow deeper and stronger. Later, alone beneath the soft glow of the stars, Ethan turned to Lyra, his voice gentle but firm. Lyra, My journeys have shown me many things, but nowhere felt like home except here with you. Lyra felt her breath catch, her heart beating faster. Ethan, you've brought peace and understanding to my world. More importantly, you've brought love to my heart. Ethan smiled warmly, his eyes shining with affection. Would you allow me to stay, to build a life here at your side? Tears of joy filled Lyra's eyes, and she nodded happily. There is nothing. I want more, Ethan. Your place is here with me. They stood together quietly, sharing a moment of pure happiness. The future was now clear, filled with possibilities and shared dreams. Zyphra will be forever changed, not by power or conquest, but by love, respect, and understanding. In the following days, Ethan officially became a citizen of Zyphora. Together, he and Lyra began working on plans to unite their worlds permanently, creating alliances based on trust and mutual respect. They traveled together, teaching other worlds the value of peace, inspiring them with their story of unity and love. Eventually, the day arrived for their official union ceremony. Diplomats, friends, and allies gathered from across the galaxy. Witnessing the moment, Ethan and Lyra pledged themselves to each other and their shared ideals, standing hand in hand before their friends. Ethan spoke clearly, his voice confident and sincere. With Lyra by my side, I have found true peace and love. Together, we will spread understanding and compassion, building a better future for all. Lyra's voice was soft yet strong as she spoke next. Ethan showed me the power of kindness and courage. Together, we will honor these virtues, always guiding others toward harmony and hope. Cheers filled the hall, celebrating not just their union, but the birth of a new era of peace and cooperation among worlds. The celebration lasted long into the night, happiness and joy spreading through all who attended. As the evening drew to a close, Ethan and Lyra stood together, gazing out over Zyphora from their palace balcony. The world below was peaceful, a reflection of their dreams and efforts. We have come so far, Lyra whispered softly, leaning against Ethan. And yet, this is just the beginning, Ethan replied gently, holding her close. Their journey was far from over, yet together they faced the future bravely, certain that their love would carry them through any challenge. They had changed each other's lives forever, proving that unity and love were the greatest powers of all.